morning. Good morning. Welcome to Shawnee Mission Unitarian Universalist Church. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome here. We are so happy that you've chosen this YouTube channel, this Sabbath, this sanctuary and time. We know that you have so many options on Sunday morning, and that you chose to be here is something that we celebrate. We extend an especially warm welcome to our visitors and anyone who may be watching our service online for the first time. If you'd like to follow along with the hymns using our hymnals and forgot to pick one up on the way in, please feel free to grab one of our carts there at the back near the entrance here in a moment. We now invite everyone to greet each other in any way you possibly can. Elbows if you're here. And if you're joining us online, please say hi in the chat. All right, thank you. Thank you. We now have a few announcements.
Good morning. Today our service is modeled after an advice column format where people have written in anonymously to ask me questions that trouble or linger on their hearts. That means that there is no proper sermon today, but 9 questions that will be answered throughout the service in a much shorter format than a sermon. Our second announcement is that next Saturday, April 1st, we will have a church workday. Even though that's April Fool's Day, there will be people here. We will begin at 9 a.m. with bagels, fruit, juice, and coffee, and then spend the morning and the early afternoon spiffing up our church grounds and building. This is for all ages and all abilities, so bring your work gloves, your rakes, your shovels, your trimmers, and this will be a fun, fun day. And now we have one last announcement from Micah Rose.
Good morning. So our church community is made up of so many wonderful young adults. And if you are a young adult, and that means that you are ages 18 to 35, you are invited to a taco lunch on Sunday, April 9th, following the church service. So bring a friend, bring an open mind about age, enjoy some tacos, and get to know some other young adults in our community. And if you'd like to attend, you can RSVP via Rome or email Dr. Jen Lacey, and we hope to see you there.
For our call to worship today, we will begin our first Dear Rev Rose question. Dear Rev Rose, since both our spirit work What's the difference between art and religion?
Art and religion are intertwined. Perhaps we even could think of spirituality as an art. For the same attributes needed to be an artist are also needed to be a healthy spiritual person. Dedication, finesse, skill, intuition, and inspiration. And after all, I think of this space as my art. The crafting of containers in which human beings can grow and morph and think and change and express themselves in relationship with others is a worshipful art form, which is not just an expression of my art, but is a sort of co-creative, interactive art installation that uses the medium of the human spirit. Come, let us worship. Please rise as you are willing and able for our opening hymn, number 347, Gather the Spirit.
Gather the Spirit, harvest the poor. Our separate fires will kindle one flame. Witness the mystery of this hour. Our trials in this light appear all the same. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy, all the same. Gather in passion and strength, gather to celebrate once again. Gather the spirit of heart and mind, seeds for the sowing are laid in store, nurtured in love and conscience refined, with body and spirit united once more. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then, gather in hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again. Gather the Spirit growing in all, drawn by the moon and fed by the sun, winter to spring and summer to fall, the chorus of life resounding as one. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then, gather in hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again.
As Cleo comes forward to light our chalice, we invite you to join us as we recite our covenant. Let us affirm that love is the doctrine of this church, the quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with one another.
Each month, we as a community take time to reflect on a theme. The children do this in their classes, and we do it here in worship in our small groups. This month, the theme is vulnerability. And so today, I've got a question for our worship associate, Lainey. Dear Lainey, what advice would you have for someone who wants to start meditating?
Namaste. That's a question that's close to my heart. First, you need to find the type of meditation that suits your needs. A lot of times when someone begins meditating, they're looking for a way to calm their minds or emotions. If that's the case, it makes for a peaceful therapy that can be practiced almost anywhere. It takes sitting in a comfortable position, back straight, head up, eyes gently closed. Feel yourself breathe in. Feel yourself breathe out. If you are able to do this, you are able to meditate. I would recommend you find a meditation group online, a meditation therapist, or simply start by reading a book. Now, if you're looking for a more spiritual path in meditation, then my advice would be to meet me after church service sometime, because that one's a real doozy. Thank you. Is this one live? Oh my gosh. We're really planned for this one well, aren't we?
All right, at this time, if there are any children, I'd like them to invite them forward. Great, it's two of our stars. All right, I am really excited. Last week during Sunday Children's RE, we asked the children of preschool to high school, what is a question you would like to ask Rev Rose? And it can be anything. And so I'm really excited because they came up with some really profound questions, such as, how tall will your baby be at the age of 4? Also, have you ever dyed your hair blue? No, but seriously, they did come up with some really great questions that I'm excited for you to hear. Dear Rev Rose, how do you make your worries grow smaller?
Well, this is a question that I've wondered about a lot myself, as I am a worrier. But I think this is sort of a trick question, because I think in order to make your worries grow smaller, what you actually have to do is make the other parts of you grow bigger. And the great thing about this is that it's really up to you which parts of you want to make grow bigger. So for example, if you wanted the part of you that feels comfort to grow bigger, you might find someone and give them a hug, and then that part of you would grow bigger. Or if you wanted to make your worries smaller, maybe you'd say, I'm going to do some learning. And so I'm going to read a book. I'm going to make the learning part of me grow bigger. And actually, over time, the more time you spend on the things that are not your worries, the smaller your worries will become. And you have to make a choice to do that. Like, for example, today, we've all chosen to come to church. And we've all come here today with our worries. But after church, after we've sung together, after we've meditated, after we've said hi to people, our worries are going to be a little bit smaller because we chose to make our social life and our spiritual life bigger.
Dear Rev Rose, What is your favorite thing to do after church?
My favorite thing to do after church is have a nice leisurely lunch in good company and then take a nap. Isn't that what we all want to do after church?
Dear Rev Rose, what ambitions or goals do you have for the church while you are on maternity leave?
Well, I actually think we're very well set up. I think everything's going to go very smoothly because we have wonderful staff and worship is all set up and our board is functioning well. So if I had an ambition, it would be that we, in my absence, would have a meaningful stewardship campaign. Now, do you guys know what the stewardship campaign is? Okay, so that's something amazing about church is that we run only on donations. Did you guys know that? So it would be like if you went to a restaurant and there weren't any prices on the menu. And then after you ate, you just got to decide what the meal was worth to you. Yeah, it's actually a pretty radical idea. So basically, if you ate the meal and then you couldn't pay, and you could only pay a little bit, you'd be like, well, I can only pay a little bit, and that would be okay. But if you were like rolling in it, you would pay more so that other people could eat. So the way that we manage our money at church is all run by what people feel they want to give and what the church is worth to them, and what the services we provide to others that they want to see in the world are worth to them. So that would be my goal, is that you all have a good experience. And also we're going to be doing sustainability conversations as part of the stewardship campaign. So that's long-term planning that we're doing for the first time. And I really want you all to, well, as part of the stewardship campaign, we're going to bring those two together. And I just want you all to feel a sense of longevity and peace about the stability of the church, so that when you guys are graduating high school and college, you know that this church is still going to be here and that you can always come back and come to your special place.
All right, and one more. Dear Rev Rose, what is your favorite meal to share with people you love?
I would say that my favorite meal is literally anything that my spouse cooks me, because Anna is a very, very good cook. And this is 100% top 3 reasons why I married Anna. And the love and the inspiration and the care that Anna puts into the food that's made for me and our friends and our family just means so much to me. And if there's anything you two remember, or any of you from this Sunday, it's that I think you should marry a good cook. Or you can be the good cook, and then someone's going to want to marry you. So you decide.
Thank you so much, Rev Rose, for sharing your answers to our questions. All right, at this time, the children can follow me to their classrooms.
We come to this place to see and be seen, to teach and be taught, to hear and be heard. I invite you to reach over and nudge the person next to you, remembering that we're here together, gathered in authenticity and intention. We also come to this place to share our joys and sorrows. If you have a joy or a sorrow to share, I now invite you to come forward and light a candle. You can share what's in your heart or on your mind in 1 to 2 sentences or with a single word, or you can just simply not share and light a candle.
I light this candle for my dad. He turned 59 yesterday, and I'm just happy I still have him around.
Hi, I'm Marie Bray, and last Wednesday I signed the book. It was simple, it was easy, and I'm so glad to be a part of this wonderful congregation. If I can get this to light.
Hi, I'm Dan. This is my practice of vulnerability. So I got laid off from my job. So that's a sorrow or a concern. But you know, there's a part of me that's so excited. And I'm just kind of can't wait to see what's next.
So this week has been a very good week. If you don't know, I'm trans. I'm non-binary and I'm transitioning. It was my first week on hormones, and I'm a first-time gardener, so everything's coming along swimmingly. I am planting things. I have way more energy than I used to. I'm just so freaking excited. I'm ecstatic to see what else happens.
Last week I told you about my daughter. How she was recovering from meth. And she got a job. Come on.
My name's Annette. I have 2 things. Yesterday was my father's birthday. If he was still alive, he'd be 89. And this Wednesday, Kurt's having surgery finally to fix his hip, so hopefully he'll be able to walk much better after that.
I light the remaining candles for all the joys and sorrows that remain unspoken in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts. And now if you would please join me in speaking the words together. We hear your words. We witness your life in all its heaviness and brilliance, and we carry your joys and sorrows in a shared heart.
Let us take a moment to come more fully into this place. Put your feet flat on the floor. Take a deep breath, close your eyes if you're comfortable, and relax into your chair. Allow your breathing to become beautiful. Wiggle your jaw. Feel yourself melt a little. Notice an area in your body that is tense or tight and embrace it. Breathing into it. Say to yourself, relax. It's okay to relax. You can let the corners of your lips turn up, letting the bustle of getting here fall away. Come into this space of holiness. I invite you to draw your attention to your breathing. Just noticing, is your breathing rapid? Do you feel peaceful already? And for 5 breaths, I'll have you follow your breath from the very top to the very bottom. Let us come into a place of gratitude. Gratitude for this moment, for this shared space, the air we breathe, the earth, the people around us, the opportunities that come our way, the awakenings, the kindnesses, the comforts, the challenges. And then as a short gratitude practice, I'll have you identify one thing you're grateful for. And actually say in your mind, thank you to it. Please remain meditating while I read you this Dear Reverend Rose question. I was asked, when you get discouraged, what gives you hope? When I get discouraged, nature gives me hope. Being outside will always offer me a sense of peace and embodiment that reminds me that the earth is so much bigger than I could ever conceive of. I will always feel hopeful in the presence of our genius, creative, and intelligent world. And when I am discouraged about the earth, I remember that the earth and I are the same thing. that I am earth incarnate, and that helps me ground into my own body through the breath. Or I go towards affection or communion with other people or animals or plants, and I remember that they are also thinking, breathing earthlings. Blessed be, and amen. And please remain seated for our meditative hymn, Open My Heart.
Dear Rev. Rose, while theological liberalism and political liberalism are often related, they are not identical. I have sometimes seen good conservatives leave our churches feeling overwhelmed and oppressed by our mostly liberal social and political stances. I think we lose some good folks. Is there anything that can be done to make this happen less often? I don't think there is a simple quick fix. It may be permanent tension, but it does deserve our thoughtful consideration.
I appreciate this question so much because it points to one of the most pressing issues that we face as a globe, which is how do we come together and work together towards a healthier, more sustainable, and just world, which we have to do. And I agree, this question deserves our thoughtful consideration. And in fact, I considered this question until it was dust. I pulverized this question. I went full dissertation on this question until I realized that it was actually pretty simple. That here at SMUUCh, we don't assume that we agree on anything, even spiritual matters, even religious matters. That instead, we remember that we need not think alike to love alike, and we work towards being in healthy relationships that can withstand and even welcome difference of opinion. And then we seek out commonalities in our values. Therefore, we be who we are, loving and kind people who do have clear values, some of which have become politicized, and we welcome visitors, and we know that not all will find that this community is for them. Aw, thanks, guys.
Dear Rev Rose, much advice I've heard for staying grounded applies to centering yourself while feeling negative emotions. What advice do you have for staying grounded while experiencing positive emotions?
The only answer to this question is rooted in Buddhism, I think, which teaches that both negative and positive emotions are the two sides of the same coin. That it will always be just as difficult to stay present and grounded during positive experiences as it will be during negative experiences. In Buddhist doctrine, this is why it is said that all of life is suffering, because the goal then isn't just to have a positive life experience, but to remain grounded no matter what life brings, positive or negative. So, whereas in the Western religions, there is a ground of being, which is traditionally thought of as a God who wants positivity or security or comfort for us. In Buddhism, there is no ground of being. There is just an emptiness and the internal breath and peace, regardless of what happens externally. So, in response to this question, the goal then is to stay grounded by unhooking from the positivity or the negativity. And if it's accessible to you, to have a practice that helps you unhook. Traditionally, that practice is breathing, if that's accessible to you. And so your first step, Lainey told you some of the steps to how to start meditating, but also to just make sure you're getting nice, deep breathing every day, no matter how you can get that. That's a good start.
And our last question. Dear Rev Rose, which UU principle do you struggle with the most?
This I was asked by the teens. You know, I struggle with the last two, the 7th and the 8th. I'll go in reverse order. Firstly, I struggle with the 8th principle because there's been conflict around it recently in the denomination and globally about the topic of systemic injustice. So I'm aware that we're all struggling to understand and move through a process right now about how to best live in a world that has a terrible history and an infrastructure that is based in supremacy systems. And so my heart is with that, and therefore I struggle. The Article 2 Commission will be voted on at the General Assembly this year, and the tension in our society is ongoing and will be ongoing around this. So I wonder greatly, and it weighs heavily on my heart, how we can best recover and repair when there is such a painful breach. And personally, I struggle the most with the 7th principle, which is respect for the interdependent web of all existence, of which we are a part. And I struggle with this because I am constantly at war with my own lifestyle. I have a very strong calling to the earth, as I'm sure many of you do. And my own ability to live in an untroubled way while being in relationship with a troubled earth, the whole thing is very troubled. I can become dogmatic, I would say, about things like water usage or gas mileage. It can move into almost a depravity mindset, and I try to temper that through my garden and by participating in the bounty of the earth, as positioning myself as someone who gives back to the earth rather than just someone who consumes from the earth. And that helps me feel connected to the abundance and luxury and longevity of the earth rather than that depravity mindset. But I really appreciate this question, and I wonder if maybe this would be a good thing for us all to ask ourselves as a sort of inventory about our own Unitarian Universalism, as well to just assess how are we each right now spiritually. Thank you for listening to the Dear Reverend Rose questions.
And thank you, Rev Rose, for your honesty. The work of the church depends on us, our generosity of time, wisdom, and financial resources. We invite you to give generously to support the ongoing work of the church. The offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation of our shared values. Join me now. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry with us in our hearts until we are together again.
This week, I'm going to invite you to look at those principles and do your own inventory and assessment on how you are spiritually. Go in peace.